It's Demon Lord Clan Boss time, the Rabbateater Team. One key, all affinities, all rarities, full auto. You can even throw a rare on this team and it works. And it has slow speeds, probably the slowest in the game for a 2-to-1 Clan Boss team. Or even Razzlevarg, my fasty, speedy lead, has a 3-to-1 in this comp. It's a fun team. Let's bring it to life.
Hold up! Click the link in the description right now, and you can get the free legendary Karato, as well as one amazing epic as you level up. Here are the exact steps to follow. Step 1. Log out of Plarium Play on PC and uninstall. Step 2. Click the link in the description and register with a brand new email. Step 3. Launch Raid and complete the tutorial. Step 4. Go to your inbox and claim Karato, the Lockdown Nuker, as well as an excellent support Tagoar as you hit level 15. Click the link now. Let's go!
All right, shout out to Deadwood Jedi, because it was Deadwood Jedi that actually came up with this team, or at least his team did, probably years ago at this point, when Razzlevarg was a new champ released, probably a couple years. It's a real fun team. It has the double man-eaters in it, which is obviously the precondition. No double man-eaters, no Rabbateater. No Razzlevarg, no Rabbateater. No Seeker, no Rabbateater. So you need these four to make this comp work. And the two Seekers basically are what give you the unkillable, and they're also block debuffs. So that's what makes this all affinities friendly, is the two managers keep block debuffs up the whole fight, and unkillable up the whole fight. So you don't have to worry about the spirit boss putting a decreased speed on you, or any other debuffs, because you won't get any. And then Razzlevarg is a damage source, but he's also a speed aura, and he does some he speeds himself up and adds more speed to the team. And then Seeker is really there for he actually does damage too. I mean, you get 21 million from Seeker alone, and then Seeker also brings the speed increase. Every 2 turns, he is boosting the speed of the whole team. So that's what keeps the speeds of this team low, is the speed aura and the speed boost from Seeker. But you can see, you can build with an unkillable team like this. You can build for damage. Razzlevarg's bringing 33 million on this key. You got 22 million, 18 million from the two man-eaters. Seeker doing 21 million. And Fane is DPS slot. DPS can be anybody that you can have at the right speeds to fit this comp, which I'll show you. In this case, I actually put Fane on here because I already had her built for, I think, the faction war. And then I was like, I'll throw her in there. I was thinking I'd put Bellinor in there and have him be able to be a void affinity, so I could use it in any affinity. But actually what I found is this team easily one keys every affinity, because you have a magic champ, you have a spirit champ, 2 magic champs, and 2 void champs. So no matter what affinity I come up against, somebody on this team's hitting hard. If it's a force-based champ, then I got 2 voids and a spirit. But if it's a spirit, then I've got a couple of magics. So really, you know, with the different affinities there, I usually pretty much get around the same damage no matter what affinity that we're facing, which makes it really nice. So that's what the roles of the team are. That's the team. For speeds, I have Razzlevarg at 240 speed. The two man-eaters are at 271 and 274. Seeker's at 217, and my DPS is at 170. Those are pretty low speeds, really. Because if you look at like those Myth Air teams, I mean, you gotta have people over 300 on your team speed. So this definitely is a ability to build lower speeds, which means you can put more damage into the build. And I will definitely come then in now and let's show you what those speeds and teams look like. Now, you do want to make sure that you're using the Deadwood Jedi calculator, because the speeds are pretty tight within the range. So for Razzlevarg, I'm actually going to take you over to the window. So over on Deadwood Jedi's website, this is deadwoodjedi.com, he has a speed calculator for clan boss teams. It's a really nice site. Wixwell, I think, is taking a lot of what this site would do for you. But if you don't have Wixwell type team, then being able to speed tune teams in here is really helpful. So you can see I have on here, I put in my champions, and true speeds are what you have to make sure that this team is tuned for. So you'll see that Razzlevarg's at 240 speed in game, but his true speed is 262, which takes into account his aura, as well as any sets, Laura Steel, and those things. So you need to come in here for each of these champions and put in the base speed is automatically filled in when you pick the champion, and the Lore of Steel, do you have it or not? And then what sets do you have? If you have any of these sets, you have to make sure you put that in. And this is really important, because putting in, if you have speed sets to get to the speed versus damage sets, then it changes the true speed of the champion. And you can see in here, I don't have any of these sets on Razzlevarg, so I have none. However, if I go down to Fane, Fane is in an instinct set. So I had to make sure I put that in. And basically, it's any of the sets that that have speed boost in them that show up in here. And I put in whether she has Lord of Steel or not. I didn't need to shift anything else because when you come to this team from Deadwood Jedi's site, you actually can go in and pick the Rabbateater team and pick the Ultra Nightmare block, and it brings up this team's comp. And I just go in and I edit these members and I put in my DPS. And to put your DPS in, you're literally just typing in what champ do you have. What you need to do though is when you put in those speeds, true speeds, Laura Steel, and what sets you have, you need to look at this comp from turn 5 on when it syncs. And you need to make sure that it looks just like I have on the screen here, or just like when you launch it from Deadwood Jedi's site, that Razelvarg's going last and the 2 Man-Eaters are right before it. That means your team's going to have Unkillable on them at the end of the turn, and Razelvarg's going to be the last one to go. So as you see, if I just scroll all the way down to turn 50, you'll see this never changes. I have 2 Man-Eaters and I have Razelvarg going last. That's what this thing needs to look like. So for example, if I switch Fane's speed from 169 to 168, you'll see it just shifted. And now Man-Eater's not the last one to go. Razelvarg's not the last, or Man-Eater's not putting up the unkillable, and Razelvarg's not the last one to go. That means we will end up being killable. It will go out of sequence, and we'll end up having this run fail. So in this case, that 1 speed on Fane made the difference because I'm at the low end of the speed curve. So for purposes of these teams, what you need to make sure is that Razelvarg, that his speeds, true speeds, that this number here shows between 261 and 262, then you're good. The 2 Man-Eaters need to be between 290 and 315, and Seeker needs to be between 237.46 and 238.52, in that range. And your DPS can be a lot wider, 188 to 203 per the website. And I'm at the low end at 188.46, which allows me to get more damage in, put more damage stats in. Now, the thing that's really important, I just mentioned the ranges of those true speeds, but you have to make sure that the champs work with each other. That's one thing I screwed up the first time I built this team. I started glyphing speeds on my champs just to be in this range, and it didn't work. So what I recommend is before you glyph the champs, put your champs in with what gear sets, what speeds, and what Laura Steel or not, and make sure this comp works for the speeds you plan to hit. Make sure that this works before you put those last glyphs in, because I thought they just needed to be in that range, but I found even though, so let's see if I can actually show you this. So Man-Eaters need to be between 271 and 274, but if I come in here and I shift the Man-Eater speed down, actually that one worked okay, 271, but if I shift him up, so watch, I put him to 272, and you'll notice that it goes out of sync. Man-Eaters aren't the last ones and Razelvarg doesn't go. So they're 271, 274 on both of them, but I found that Man-Eater really did need to be 271. I needed that 3 speed gap for this team to work. So before you use those last glyphs, make sure you come in and ensure that you actually have those champs at the rates, that those speeds that you plan to hit will work. In my case, I had to take a piece of gear off and get something with a little less speed on it, which was a bummer because I spent a lot of time getting the right gear sets on them. So that's how this calculator works, and it allows you how you know if you have the right speeds that will work within there. Really cool setup. And it does, in this particular team, you know, Deadwood Jedi did a great job. That Razelvarg's passive that boosts his speed, that's baked into this calculator. So you don't have to worry about Razelvarg's passive. You just need to make sure he's in that true speed range that I quoted. So sets, if we go back to the game, on sets, you need to make sure that, we'll go into champs and recently used. When you put sets on these champions, you have to make sure that you don't use sets that change turn meter or skill timing on Razelvarg and both the Man-Eaters. These are the ones that are setting up your comp. So they're the ones that will really determine whether this comp works. So if you shift the turn meter or the skill order on them, it will throw that comp off. So those 3. Now, Fane and Seeker can be in Relentless, they can be in other sets, but you need to make sure that you don't put Relentless, Merciless, Reflex, any of those sets that would change turn meter or skill order on the Man-Eater and the 2 Razelvargs. And Razelvarg can't ban anything that'll make him counterattack or extend buffs. So if you put an ally attacker in for your DPS instead of a Fane, you know, you can't have somebody that's going to have Razovar counterattack or extend his buffs. You can have an ally attacker that makes him ally attack, but you can't have him counterattack and work outside his turn. Masteries, blessings, and relics, all three of those. Traditional clan boss masteries, which you can find on many websites, but basically anything that affects turn meter or skill order is the same impact. So, if I go into the mastery tree and I just pick something like Spirit Haste, which it would increase speed for a dead ally, or Arcane Celerity has a chance of increasing the turn meter. You can't use masteries that would change turn meter or skill order on any of your clan boss champs. And same thing for relics nowadays or blessings. Make sure you don't have ones that would also shift the speeds that are on here and the skill order. So those are the important pieces there. Let me show you the builds that I have on Razelvarg. In his case, I'm going lethal, and as I said, I'm going for damage on him. 6,700 attack. He's got 260 crit damage. When I first built this, actually, I needed 2 more speed, and I put skill points into that. Kind of regret that, because now I got to remember those if I ever do anything in Clan Boss. But there was 2 speed in there. So he's at 239 in game and 260 crit damage. And I do have some accuracy on him for 203. And he's doing attacks. He's bringing the leech, so that helps. I guess we're unkillable. So I don't know, Leech really does too much for me, but he puts increased speed and increased accuracy. So you'll see that his accuracy was only 203, if I remember correctly. Yeah, 203. But because of the increased accuracy, he now is over 300 accuracy. So I think you only need like 250 for Ultra Nightmare Clan Boss, maybe 275. But with that increased accuracy aura, he's going to keep the ability up and be able to land any debuffs that he wants to land. But really, I guess he's got the increased speed. He's got the leech, which probably really doesn't matter too much. So I guess he's got accuracy. I don't know that I really care now that I look at it. And then masteries, you can see the mastery tree. I'm on the offense tree, and I'm going for Giant Slayer on him because he's got multiple hits on his attacks. So I'm trying to get more hits out of there. And then I went accuracy to get more accuracy out of him. I also use him in Hydra, by the way, with this exact same build, and he's really good for Hydra. And even with that speed, not being as high on him, he's at 237 speed in Hydra. Actually, that's not true. And in the Hydra build, I would have Hydra speed boosts, so he would actually be 253 in Hydra, and he does a lot of work for me in Hydra actually. So even with the same build. And then I have, let's go to the 2 man-eaters. I've got one at 269 speed and 3,000 defense and 50,000 HP. It is important on the 2 man-eaters that you have enough HP on EHP, I guess, so between the defense and HP, that they don't become the stun target, because this team sets itself in the first 5 turns, so they're not unkillable at the start. So if the man-eater gets targeted by the stun, it'll throw the comp off. So you can see what build I have here, and it works fine. So if you did 45,000 or 40,000, would it be okay? I don't know, but I know 50,000 on him's definitely working. And he's in a bunch of mixed sets. He's got standard clan boss masteries, and I have him on the defense tree to get retribution and returns, because the man-eaters can counterattack. There's nothing wrong with that, so you can see I have them on those. But actually, if you notice on the Razovargs, I didn't put him on the defense tree because I didn't want to go down and get retribution and deterrence. But the man-eater has that. This man-eater also has the same masteries, and he is on a swift parry set, just because that's how I got the damage, not that I'm trying to keep him unkillable. He's at 45,000 HP, so in 2,500 defense. So you can see his stats are a lot lower than the other man-eater, and that still works. And then don't forget, sorry, that spider's dead. In Demon Lord, he's at 274 speed, and I really, he'll still get accuracy, but I don't think they actually need that accuracy for anything, do they? They're just keeping us unkillable. Actually, he's got decreased attack. So they both have decreased attack. I don't know that really matters because we're unkillable anyway, but they do have enough accuracy to land it. And then, well, let's show the Seeker. Seeker's in a bunch of broken stuff. These are his masteries, standard clan boss masteries, except he's in War Master instead of Giant Slayer, and he's got the same defensive masteries, trying to get more hits out of him, which is okay. And he's at 217 speed. He's got 40,000 HP, 3,000 defense, and he's at 307 crit damage, and he does have some accuracy with the accuracy boost as well, so he would certainly have enough, although I think he's provoking, which you can't do on the clan boss anyway, increase attack, so he's not landing any debuffs. And the last one I'm using as a DPS, and this spot is subbable. really any DPS that you can use. I would be careful with Ninja and Turvold because they can change the turn meter. So I get a little more worried about them. I don't know that I would pick those two DPSs, but a Fane, an Annex, a Bellinor, you can put in what's the Varl the Destroyer. I mean, there's different DPSs. Whisper. I mean, you can put different ones in here. She does need to land debuffs because she's bringing my decrease defense and weaken in there, and she's also bringing poisons. So Fane is actually really helpful in here. I did have her when she was not 6-star ascended, and the team, easily one keyed, so they didn't make much of a difference with the 6-star ascension, just so you're aware. She's on War Master. I've got her on the tree accuracy tree here, sport tree to get accuracy. She's got War Master, and her stats, she's in a instinct set, and she has 173 speed, 8,600 attack, and 300 crit damage. And you can see the blessing definitely helps with that. And she's 4+ forward as well. Actually, when I built her originally, I didn't have +4s. I don't even think we had epic. We didn't even have epic empowerment. So a non-empowered, non-ascended Thane, I was easily when keying 130 million or whatever. So it definitely gave her more damage, but it doesn't make the difference, as you can saw in my numbers. So those are the builds. Let me show you the setup presets. This is my clan boss team. So Razelvarg has his A3 as his number 1, so he gets the increased speed, increased accuracy up, and then he does come in with his A2 for the leech, and it's still a nice attack. So that's what his setups. The Maneater, the slower Maneater 271 will open with his A2, and the faster Maneater does not have any preset, and they're actually smart. These Maneaters are smart. He'll know not to use his unkillable when the first Maneater already puts one up. So these two Maneaters are actually pretty smart when they fight with each other. They'll actually see the unkillables up and save the skill. So it's a pretty cool AI. AI in this game sucks in a lot of places. Maneaters, they actually did a good job with them. So Seeker opens up with his A1 so that he doesn't do the turn meter boost right away. And then your DPS, in this case with Fane, I just have her do whatever she wants to do, and she's smart enough, she'll open up with the decreased defensive weak and then come back with the poisons, but there's no real sets for builds changes for her. So those are the presets. As I mentioned, you can use different DPSs in here, and I showed you the Ultra Nightmare key when we started, and you can see I'm probably higher now because I just used 2 keys. So I'm at 2 keys for 282. I already did my Nightmare key, and you can see that I'm at 155 on the Nightmare key doing full auto. One thing I'll show you, I don't have the quest to do rare today, but I'll show you that anyway. So if I want, on this team, if I want to use a rare, I'll just take my DPS out, and then I come in and I pick up Frozen Banshee, who's my rare that I used to use, and I just pop her into Brutal, and I hit auto. I don't even put her in the team setup. I just hit auto, and I've never not one keyed the rare in there. So it just works. I mean, it's 120 million. So I just put Frozen Banshee in instead of Thane, and I got 120 million, right? Now that's Brutal. It's not Ultra Nightmare. But I run 3 to 4 keys every day. I've never tried just slopping Frozen Banshee in on Nightmare. Ultra Nightmare, I don't think that would work. But Nightmare, I've never tried it. But if I just throw her in for Brutal, she always one keys. You could do the same thing on hard. It can be Brutal or hard. Maybe Nightmare works. I've just never tried it. So that's what I can do with a rare. So it works on the rare too. And just for the fun of it, and this one I will go into the presets. If I just want to show you that you can use different DPS, if I take Fane out and I say, hey, let's throw like a Michinaki in there. I do know that my Michinaki falls in the speed range, by the way. You can't just throw any DPS in that doesn't. But just to show you, if I throw Michinaki in, he's at 170 speed, and I believe that should work. So I've never done this. We're going to do this live. We're going to throw Michinaki in. I don't even know what difficulty we're on. Sorry. Let's make sure we're on Ultra Nightmare. So let's go to Ultra Nightmare. Oh, there goes 100 gems. Let's go to Ultra Nightmare. Let's battle that, and let's throw in our clan boss with Michinaki and see what we do. Force Affinity, so that's not a good matchup for Michinaki. There's nothing I can do about that. I wonder if I could go to Nightmare. Well, let's just try it. Let's just see what happens. So I've got Unfortunately, 3 magic damage dealers, so not a great test. I don't know if this is going to work. Let's see what happens. Well, it's still running. That's a good sign, at least. We didn't die. So, 1 key, 3 magic dealers against a force, so it would have been better against magic or spirit or void. Yeah, like I said, I just swapped out a DPS, threw in a different DPS, and we got a 1 key Ultra Nightmare there as well. So, rares work too. So, I showed you the Deadwood Jedi site. Also, on my site, just so you're aware, I do show a full run of this. I have a video out that shows the full run. So if something goes wrong in your comp and you want to see where did yours differ from mine, I do have a video on the channel that shows the full run of the Rabbateater. You'll see it earlier in the videos that I've released. So if you want to see this thing full run instead of just the instant battles, you can see it that way. I didn't think you guys all want to sit here and watch an hour of hand boss runs or 40 minutes or whatever it would take. All right, and a little bonus feature for anybody who's still watching this video and hasn't clicked off already. I have a bonus for you. So the 2 masteries are at 3 and 1 star each. I have been waiting for, I don't know, a year, months to come in here and say I have souls for both man-eaters, a 6-star and a 5-star ascension. I didn't ascend them because I thought if I did this video and you saw all 6 and 5 stars, you'd think, well, gee, do I have to have those extensions to do that? So I waited until now so I could extend them in the video, and you would be able to see the video without it. So I'm going to go pop the ascensions on these 2 man-eaters. That will change the speeds of my champs, so I'm going to have to probably do something in gearing, which is probably a pain, and maybe this isn't worth it, but I am going to go do it, and I'll switch the speeds, and I'll come back, and hopefully I don't screw up their damage, and that'll throw off the test, but I'm going to run another key and just see, do I get different numbers? So let's experiment together. Let's go in and awaken these. So we want one of these. Hold on a second. I got to make sure I know. I got the speeds up on the calculator. So I think I can just extend these 2, and I know that will change his speed. So if we take 1 man-eater, I don't think it matters which one I take to 6 and which one I take to 5, right? Hold on a sec. Okay, I did look. Because the 1 man-eater is on a set, I want to take the one with a bunch of broken pieces to 6-star because that's probably easier for me to fix the speed on. So we'll take him to 6-star. We'll take the other man-eater to 5-star. All right, we got 2 extended man-eaters. Let me go fix the speed on the one, and we'll run 1 more key and see what happens. All right, I'm back. Ultra Nightmare. I have 2 new man-eaters with better ascensions. I did switch the second man-eater from Cruelty to Phantom Touch because now that he's 6-star ascended, I think I'll get better payback by having him spend 46 turns with Phantom Touch than I think we'll cap out with Cruelty with the 1. So, all right, let's see. These are so variable. I have no idea how to compare one run, but I burned 100 gems just to see what this looks like. Let's see if it runs. So hopefully it goes 50 turns and doesn't fail because I did shift gear. Come on, make it 50 at least. 159. So the first one we did was 144. Maybe that's RNG. I don't know, but seems like it's doing better with the man-eaters with the higher ascensions and the switch to Phantom Touch. So anyway, that's Rabbateater. If it's helpful, would definitely love a like and subscribe to the channel because I do daily content. Thank you.